Produced and distributed by the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws in Washington, D.C., this is your NORML Daily Audio Stash, the growing truth about cannabis. Welcome to the most popular podcast regarding marijuana in all of America and all the world, featuring interviews with scientists, politicians, doctors, prohibition policy activists, regular cannabis consumers, musicians, artists, and NORML staff and NORML's board of directors, along with music and comedy no other podcast can offer. You can always find out more about the show at our website, stash.norml.org, and continue the education and conversation on our blog as well. We're ending marijuana prohibition with education, one listener at a time. The podcasting and blogging technology for the NORML Daily Audio Stash is provided by Red Aphid Interactive Media. Visit www.redaphid.com. Es lunes, 5 de mayo, y es 4:20 en alguna parte en el mundo. Soy su anfitrión, Radical Russ Belville. This weekend was the kickoff to the summer protestival season. I hope you all enjoyed your global marijuana march and took the opportunity to use your freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and freedom to petition your government. But that's only the beginning, because ending adult marijuana prohibition starts with you. Call your Congress at 202-224-3121 and tell your representative to support Barney Frank's H.R. 5843, the bill that would legalize marijuana for personal use. For our Political Activism Day today, I'm bringing you my report from Portland, Oregon's 9th annual Million Marijuana March held in the center of downtown at Pioneer Courthouse Square. I'm also calling on all local activists to send me your audio, video, and pictures from your march so we can share your experience with the global cannabis community. We've got just a few news stories and your weekly legislative roundup. Next, I've got exclusive audio from our Portland event. Friday night, we held a party for Oregon NORML's board of directors. I'll take you inside NORML's West Coast media headquarters for an impromptu interview. Then you'll hear speeches from the event by our executive director, Madeline Martinez, board member Melody Silverwolf, and co-founder Anna Diaz. For our musical break on this Blues Monday, Cannabis Carry brings us a bluesman from my neck of the woods, just south in Salem, Oregon. Mark Lemhouse performs You Can't Get That Stuff No More, something I'm sure we've all said a time or two when searching for our favorite prohibited strain. To conclude our stash, I've got an extra special musical treat, as Chief Greenbud joined us on the local cable access show I host in Portland called A Cannabis Community Forum. So sit back and relax with your favorite strain. It's time for your NORML Daily Audio Stash. Now it's time to take a look at the latest stories about marijuana from news organizations across America and around the world in our NORML Daily Audio Stash, Hemp Headlines. This is your NORML Weekly Legislative Roundup. For the state of Illinois, Senate Bill 2865, which seeks to allow for the therapeutic use of cannabis for qualified patients, awaits action by the full Senate. This bill was recently amended to address concerns voiced by some of the Illinois law enforcement community. Illinois NORML supporters are urged to contact their state senator in support of SB 2865 through NORML's online advocacy system at norml.org. For the state of Minnesota, medical cannabis legislation is anticipated to go before the full House floor for a vote imminently, and if approved there, to the governor's desk. This legislation would ensure that medical marijuana patients in Minnesota would no longer have to fear arrest or prosecution from state law enforcement. However, Governor Pawlenty has indicated that he intends to veto this bill if it gets to his desk. You can view an ad urging Governor Pawlenty to rethink his position and help support these bills via NORML's online advocacy system at NORML.org. In the state of Hawaii, House Bill 2675, which would establish a legislative medical marijuana task force in Hawaii, is now before the governor. If signed into law, this task force would examine issues regarding adequate supplies of medical marijuana for qualified patients, distinguishing between mature and immature plants under current law, the feasibility of constructing secure growing facilities for medical marijuana patients to use to produce their medicine, and study inter-island travel issues related to medical marijuana. Hawaiian supporters can email their state senators via NORML's online advocacy system at NORML.org. In the state of Vermont, the Vermont Senate is expected to vote on House Bill 267, which would define industrial hemp as an agricultural product and establish regulations for its production by state-licensed farmers. If approved, Vermont will join more than a dozen states that have enacted laws or resolutions endorsing the study and/or production of industrial hemp. Vermont NORML supporters are strongly encouraged to send their state senator a pre-written letter urging passage of House Bill 267 via NORML's online advocacy system at NORML.org. And in the state of New Hampshire, NORML is disheartened to announce that the New Hampshire Senate has defeated House Bill 1623, which would have decriminalized minor marijuana possession, in a voice vote last week. The Senate vote, which was not unexpected, followed weeks of veto threats from Governor John Lynch. The measure had previously passed the House by a vote of 193 to 141. NORML would like to take this time to thank NORML supporters who contacted their House of Representatives in support of HB 1623. Your efforts made a huge difference in persuading the House to pass this vital piece of legislation. To remain involved in cannabis law reform efforts in New Hampshire, please visit nhcommonsense.org. Representative Clay, Democrat of Missouri, co-sponsors H.R. 5843. Representative William Lacey Clay is supporting a bill that would decriminalize small amounts of marijuana. The Missouri Democrat has signed on as a co-sponsor of the measure to eliminate federal penalties for possessing up to 100 grams, or about 3.5 ounces, of marijuana for personal use. The bill would also remove penalties for the not-for-profit transfer of up to 1 ounce of marijuana between adults. Clay is only the third lawmaker to sign on to the bill introduced last month by Representative Barney Frank, a Massachusetts Democrat. Frank says prosecuting people for smoking marijuana is an unwise use of law enforcement resources. While Clay joins Ron Paul, Republican of Texas, as a co-sponsor, I'm thrilled to hear of a lawmaker in the Midwest who's unafraid to stand up for marijuana decriminalization. New York benefit to celebrate recent medical marijuana successes. Long Island, New York. On Wednesday, May 14th, the Marijuana Policy Project will host a spring soiree, a night of comedy and music to benefit MPP's efforts to protect seriously ill New Yorkers from arrest and jail if they use medical marijuana with their doctor's recommendation. Patient advocate Joel Peacock will be honored, and Sony BMG recording artist Nicole Atkins and the Sea and other special guests will perform. All funds raised will be used to pass a bill to make New York the 13th medical marijuana state in the country. The host committee for the event and those attending include The Daily Show with Jon Stewart's Louis Black, political pundit Tucker Carlson, Tony Award winner Savion Glover, MTV News' Kurt Loder, musician Michelle Phillips, ABC's John Stossel from 2020, talk show host Montel Williams, and more. Last year, for the first time ever, the New York Assembly passed a medical marijuana bill by a 95-52 vote, sending the bill over to the Senate. Before his resignation, Governor Eliot Spitzer expressed his openness to signing medical marijuana legislation, and the new Governor Patterson seems likely to be a supporter as well, so all eyes are now focused on the Republican-controlled Senate, where Senate Majority Leader Joseph Bruno is supportive of allowing medical marijuana, but has not brought the issue to a vote. With Republicans facing a tough election this November, when they could very well lose control of the Senate, we're hoping they'll pay attention to the public opinion polling that indicates 76% of New York voters and even 55% of Conservative Party voters in the state support legal protection for medical marijuana patients. The MPP benefit will take place at the Highline Ballroom, 431 West 16th Street, between 9th and 10th Avenues. Tickets are $250 in advance, $300 at the door, and most of the contribution is tax deductible. To get your tickets, visit mpp.org/highline or call 202-462-5747, extension 104.
Marijuana is an addictive drug which produces in its users insanity, criminality, and death.
Marijuana is the most violence-causing drug in the history of mankind.
If the hideous monster Frankenstein came face to face with the monster of marijuana, he would drop dead from fright.
Madness.
New Australian Centre will fight marijuana.
Cannabis use and addiction have become such a problem, particularly among the young, that the federal government is funding a $12 million research center at the University of New South Wales to try to turn the trend around. Cannabis is the most popular illicit drug in Australia, with 33.5% of adults having used it, the center's director, Professor Jan Copeland, said. Australian Bureau of Statistics figures from last year showed that 750,000 people used cannabis weekly and 300,000 used it every day. The number of those seeking treatment had tripled since 1992, but many young people still did not understand the significant potential for harm to their health, nor that there were treatment services available, Professor Copeland said. She said about 1 in 10 people who tried cannabis would develop a dependence. Those under 16 who had used it at all were 3 times more likely to either drop out of school or finish without attending their higher school certificate, she said. Professor Copeland said those who began smoking cannabis in the 1970s were starting to develop respiratory, head, and neck cancers. A single cannabis joint has the same effect on the lungs as smoking up to 5 cigarettes in one setting, according to the research published in the respiratory medicine journal Thorax last year.
All right, nothing like starting the week out with a trifecta of drug war lies. Number 1, yes, admissions for drug treatment, both in Australia and the United States and elsewhere, have increased since 1992. This is because courts are increasingly sentencing people to drug rehab when they're caught with marijuana. Imagine if they sent to rehab people who are ever found to be buzzed on alcohol. Would there be a mass media frenzy about the incredible increase in alcoholism? Of course not, because not all use is abuse. If you factor out those forced into marijuana rehab, you find the number of pot smokers choosing to enter rehab is quite small. Number 2, people who have smoked pot in the 1970s may indeed be getting head and neck cancers some 3 decades later, but you can't attribute that to the pot. Recent studies have concluded that smoking marijuana, even heavily, does not increase the risk of these cancers. And number 3, the 1 joint equals 5 or 10 or 12 cigarettes myth has been debunked as well. Marijuana does not cause emphysema, and marijuana smokers show much better respiratory function than tobacco smokers.
Hello, I'm Paul Stanford from the Hemp and Cannabis Foundation, or THCF. Medical marijuana is legal in 12 states today, and THCF has medical clinics in 6 of those states. Our physicians help qualified patients obtain an authorization for medical marijuana in their state. Patients are eligible for medical marijuana with a history of either severe chronic pain and or nausea, cancer, AIDS or HIV, hepatitis, glaucoma, seizure disorders like epilepsy, chronic muscle spasms as in multiple sclerosis or asthma, neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's, and gastrointestinal disorders like IBS or Crohn's disease. If you or someone you know has one of these conditions, our doctors will help them obtain a permit for medical marijuana. THCF Medical Clinics has offices in Washington State, Oregon, Colorado, Nevada, Hawaii, and California. Call 1-800-723-0188 or go to the web at www.hemp.org or 1-800-723-0188.
Well, of course, last weekend was the Global Marijuana March taking place in over 200 cities worldwide. I'm catching up on all of the newspaper reports about the march, and they almost all are positive reports about the peaceful, non-violent protest of our current marijuana laws. I see close to 500 protesters took the streets in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Another line says, amid the incense aromas and reggae beats, several hundred Austinites rallied at the Capitol in Austin, Texas. Here in Portland, Oregon, at our 9th annual Million Marijuana March, it is said that over 750 people marched for their rights. And a great quote from the police, from Sergeant Vapel of the Portland Police Department, who said, quote, "These guys are easy compared to the anarchists. They're on time, and they're orderly." According to the Sarge, the only rabble-rousers during the march were two drunkards who were pestering people, but were unconnected to the peaceful pro-pot gatherers. No pot smokers were spotted. Montreal, Ottawa, Vancouver, and Winnipeg also had marches in Canada. And we get some notes here from the Global Marijuana March in Boulder, Denver, and Colorado Springs, which were also peaceful marches. The one incidence of violence I was able to find came from Athens, Greece, where it says police have fired tear gas to clear scores of youths during clashes outside a pro-marijuana festival. Youths were setting fire to tires and blocked a busy road outside a university campus. However, when we look at the other cities, Seattle, Washington, more than 100 people marched from Capitol Hill to Westlake Park in downtown Seattle. An AIDS patient and a wounded veteran of the Iraq War joined a small group of demonstrators in Rapid City, South Dakota. A few hundred people gathered at Fountain Square in Cincinnati. Omaha, Nebraska had a small group of young men and women holding signs out at the Jean Leahy Mall. Queen's Park found thousands of people rallying for marijuana freedom in Toronto, Canada. And even Cleveland, Ohio had dozens of people marching for the Million Marijuana March. If you've got any news clips or photos or video or audio from the march in your area, please let us know here at the Stash. Send me an email at stash@normal.org and we'll highlight your town on the Daily Audio Stash. Of course, last weekend was a really busy weekend for me here in Portland, Oregon, as we got ready for our Million Marijuana March. We had a protest festival as well at the Pioneer Courthouse Square where our march took place. I was very happy to have Selecta Lou from Sacramento, California, Los Marihuanos from Las Vegas, and Chief Greenbud from Nashville, Tennessee, who all came to attend this year's march in Portland. So the night before the march, we all got together along with the board of Oregon NORML for a party here at NORML West Coast Media Headquarters. Let me provide you a little look inside as we prepared for the Million Marijuana March. Oh yeah, here we are at NORML West Coast Media Headquarters, partying live and direct the night before the Million Marijuana March. I got Pony Boy from Los Marihuanos here in the studio. Pony Boy, what up?
What up, though?
What brings you here to Portland? You're here the second or third year in a row?
This is going to be our third year, right?
Third year.
Third year we've been dedicated to the family at Oregon NORML. And this is our second home, dog.
Right on. It's good to have you here.
No, you guys always show us love, dog.
Fuzzy's here.
Mr. SK's
here in the house.
We're getting our munchies on.
The munchie time,
We're smoking out with Smoke Dog and shit.
Oh yeah, we just got the pizza direct from the Pizza Hut. NORML West Coast Media Headquarters is 2 blocks away from a Pizza Hut. If that ain't serendipitous, I don't know what is.
For real though, that ain't no joke. And where we were medicating with my man Radical Russ and Smoke Dog, we're just having a good time. Before the march, which we'll be leading the march again. Man, we love leading the march.
Isn't that great? We go out there on that march. We got the whole Pioneer Courthouse Square, and then we've got a mobile PA.
Yeah.
So you guys are like rapping and chanting the whole way through, and it just really gets the people motivated, man. I was like, relax it and tax
when you have like all the people that were in back of us during that march chanting with us.
Yeah.
It was an awesome feeling, dog, and it was like, I was medicated before the march, medicated during the march, and during the march it was overwhelming. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this time's totally different because we got the stage there, we got the whole square for the whole day, so it's gonna be a full on festival and event there. You guys are performing.
Yeah, and then my boy Chief Greenbud.
Chief Greenbud, is Chief out there?
Hey, you know what? If you guys ain't heard of Chief Greenbud. I've heard about
Chief, come on in here.
I've heard about this dude through MySpace. Somebody's promoter is like, some guy, dog, or some girl is promoting you, and they're sending like the MySpace with his, Chief Greenbud.
Yeah, MySpace.com.
So,
yeah.
and
Got
yeah.
the little logo.
Yeah.
Let's get the Chief in here. Chief, you came
Chief.
in from Memphis, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Nashville.
wasn't Elvis born there?
Nashville? No,
Where was
I was
Elvis?
born in Mississippi.
Let me get I'm going to go back to my music trivia book and go look that up.
So, is this your first time here in Portland?
It is my first time on the West.
Right on. You liking it so far?
It's great.
Yeah.
Flew in this morning, and here we are. Party
Here we are,
pony,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's pretty open here. That's the thing about Oregon. It's like potland. We call it instead of
Yeah,
Portland.
that's what we call it, right? Potland.
Potland,
And people
Oregon.
say, why do you call it Potland?
Have you been there?
I've been there.
So there's this small bag of marijuana on this table, and I'm looking at it. And this person says, that's really not very good. I'm supposed to try it, and I just, and it's like better than stuff I've had in the last year.
For real.
Here's when I knew my.
This is the bad stuff. And then she opened the big jar.
Yeah. Well, some of that outside there in the main lobby there is some pretty sticky icky out there too. The thing that when I knew my life had changed upon coming to Oregon, because I'm originally from Idaho, so like for me, if there was like if I was rolling a J and a flake fell on my jeans, I got like tweezers out. I'm picking out with tweezers trying to get that flake right here. You spill a flake on your jeans, it's like. Just keep that. Get that off.
But not Fuzzy. Fuzzy actually catches it as it falls from the paper. It's like in slow motion. He's like going, no. And he's diving in slow motion just to catch that piece of nug. Over here, people don't give a care about a little piece of nug falling on the floor. The dog, somebody gave that dog some flame. He's eating edible dog treats.
The dog here, we've got the dogs partying. Roscoe, my dog, is here as well as.
He got a green collar on and everything.
Oh yeah, we're green all the way here.
Oh my God, it's an Oregon leash. Oregon NORML leash.
Yeah, he's a vicious dog. And, of course, Madeline Martinez, Executive Director of Oregon NORML, is here.
What's up,
Melody
Mad?
Silverwolf, one of our board members, is here. The whole
Madeline,
party,
yeah.
Select the Lou
Select
and
the
Mel
Lou's
are
and
here.
Mel.
It's a big old party here at Oregon NORML West Coast headquarters. We'll be checking in a little bit later with some audio from the march for you. And also check out the video. It'll be up on our YouTube page, which is up at youtube.com/Oregon NORML. This is Radical Russ signing off for tonight. Out.
Just say no.
No matter what you call it, it's a huge part of popular culture.
Where'd you learn that, Cheech? Drug school.
You don't need weed school. You just need a copy of the new book, Pot Culture, the A to Z Guide to Stoner Language and Life.
Hey, this is great, man.
Even if you never smoked marijuana,
I never used marijuana. Sorry.
don't think you smoked marijuana,
I experimented with marijuana a time or two and didn't inhale.
or you used to smoke marijuana,
I inhaled frequently. That was the point.
Pot Culture by former High Times editor Steve Bloom and Shirley Halperin will answer every question you ever had about marijuana culture.
Has that marijuana made it back up here yet?
Check out Pot Culture, the A to Z Guide to Stoner Language and Life at Amazon.com or visit potculturebook.com today.
Too bad, man. I just stopped smoking yesterday.
Here at the NORML Daily Audio Stash, we work hard to change our nation's marijuana laws through education and discussion. But we also take the time to relax and unwind with an eclectic mix of pod-safe music from many independent artists. We look for music that speaks to the growing truth about cannabis, or music that speaks to broader themes of freedom, liberty, social justice, equality, and protest. To find out more about the artists and download the music you hear on this podcast, just log on to stash.normal.org. And if you'd like to get your music heard by the online cannabis community, just send us an email at stash@normal.org. Welcome to the Blue Monday Music Stash. A real blues man, Mark Lemhouse, sings the blues on You Can't Get That Stuff No More. In our black and gray market of cannabis, this is a familiar song to many. I've sung that lament many times over the years. Lemhouse is an American roots and folk blues artist who has received national recognition as both an outstanding songwriter and performer. His songwriting style is showcased in the impressive guitar work and easygoing lyrical quality of his music. Mark calls Salem, Oregon his home. We can hope for a brighter tomorrow, post-prohibition world where you can get that stuff some more. Visit Mark's website. We have links to it up at our blog, stash.normal.org, where you can hear even more of his music. You can also get a download of this song from our website at stash.normal.org. This is Mark Lemhouse with You Can't Get That Stuff No More.
Across town, law went there, boys, and they shut him down. And you can't get that stuff no more. Can't get that stuff no more. No matter how you try, baby, can't get that stuff no more. Know that place back on Dago Hill. Law took the gals, man, they took that liquor still. Now you can't get that stuff no more. Can't get that stuff no more. No matter how you try, man, can't get that stuff no more. Little Suzanne needs to sell her grease. Sheba police came and ran her off his beat. Now you can't get that stuff no more. Can't get that stuff no more. No matter how you try, boys, can't get that stuff no more.
Hi, this is Alan St. Pierre, Executive Director of NORML. We are the oldest, largest, and best-known marijuana law reform organization in America. And it's all because of your support. Take some time to join NORML at www.norml.org. Your membership supports this podcast, our websites, our policy research and analysis, and our annual conferences. Changing marijuana laws is a grassroots effort, and it starts with you, the stakeholder. Join NORML today and add your voice to the millions of cannabis consumers who demand equality with our beer-drinking friends.
Hey Stashers, with my local chapter of NORML here, I'm very proud to be working with 3 of the greatest female marijuana activists in the country, in my opinion. You'll be hearing Madeline Martinez, the executive director of Oregon NORML, followed by Sister Sativa, aka Melody Silverwolf, one of the directors and co-founders, as well as Anna Diaz, another director and co-founder of Oregon NORML.